Let's Dub Project.
Welcome back, tyrants and newcomers alike, to Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. Last episode, the investigation ended, and now we begin the final trial of Case 2. Let's begin. October 14th, 9:41, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 4.
Hey, Nick!
What is it this time?
You won't believe how many people are here for the trial!
Well, it is a murder case.
What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door!
Next door?
Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Adme's trial today.
Detective Adme?
They say they're going to try him as Mask to Mask.
Already? That was fast.
Boy, I'd love to see Mask to Mask's trial.
I know.
By the way, where's Pearls?
Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore.
I know you don't like me.
Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh?
Yeah, ever since that incident last year.
Please, don't ignore me.
Oh, Mr. Delite! Good morning!
No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I killed someone.
Come on, don't be silly! Wait a second!
You don't mean you're the murderer?
No! I'm just a poor thief! No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor.
Now, let's see. According to Mr. Delite, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists.
Do you think that there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick?
It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock.
Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always.
I'm afraid that's not an option. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delite. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. He's got the judge in the palm of his hands. Yet again.
Ron Delite is simply too young to be sent to war. That is all.
I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot.
Huh. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise with your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Ballard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day.
And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. And that little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness.
I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. But the first one is always the best.
Mr. Godot, you witness?
Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron Delite, has to say for himself.
The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but... I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delite to testify.
Huh. You've got guts, Trite.
All right then, Mr. Ron Delite, please take the stand.
You did it, didn't you?
Yes.
What?
No. That's not true.
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever.
Well, Mr. Delite already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making.
And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin.
Huh. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why'd you go to K&B Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home.
Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. My visit to KD Security.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I know where his office was.
Ah, 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place.
The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. It's bitter today too, just like my destiny.
You never know that from the way he's chugging it down.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. My visit to KB Security. Alright. Good evening, around 1 a.m. Went to see Mr. Bullard. Blackmail letter I got. It ordered me to go there. Or did it? Let's see. Bring food to house. If you don't take the red diamond you received the other day instead. The red diamond thing sure is interesting. Okay, it ordered you to go there, huh? So it's not this. Let's press. It ordered you there?
It was the first time I got a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this, or take that.
Aha! Why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delite? Please don't say any more. Now, what should I do? Press harder. So, what did the blackmail letter in question say?
It said to bring $50,000.
Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder.
Oh, but... Wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway.
Oh, is that right?
After all, he had nothing over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. Muddy mud skipper in outer space? Okay. And I think it would cause you trouble, because... probably about that thing. Maybe we have to press further. Is that what we have to do? Because obviously the blackmail letter is not to be presented here. Wasn't going to cause you trouble, was it? Let me see here. Let's press that again. Just what were you being blackmailed about, anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Ballard didn't have anything on me.
He didn't?
Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me.
So, that's why Miss Delite didn't believe he was mask to mask.
That's why I knew they were just hollow threats.
Huh. Okay, wasn't going to cause you trouble, huh? Well, let's press more. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right?
Yes, that's right.
A security chief? You?
And yet, a year ago you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge. A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
Huh. This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Why you was fired. Mr. Delite, please tell us why you were fired from your job.
Well,
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that.
Okay, then I did... Defendant, please answer the question.
I needed money.
You needed money?
Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby.
Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick?
My salary wasn't nearly enough. So I stole the data from the company.
Come again?
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was security team chief,
Stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Ballard found out, and I was fired immediately.
What? Wish I had never asked that.
I was somehow able to keep it a secret, and made it seem like I had quit on my own.
What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as a punishment. You do well to remember that.
He sure told you.
So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. What do you mean?
The victim had no proof the defendant was mask to mask. But you were the only one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier.
But that was all over with once I was fired. But it is true that the fact that I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now, a whole year later.
Is that really true?
What is it, Nick?
The fact that Ron was stealing company data. I wonder if he would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge. Probably. Mr. Delite, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client?
Huh! Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow.
If you know what I mean. That's exactly right.
Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo.
Little lawyer amigo?
Yes. Now come on. Provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. Delite want to keep his data stealing secret from going public?
Because he was mask to mask, probably.
Huh. Well, Mr. Defendant?
You heard the defendant. Just when I thought it wasn't possible, a whole new level of irritation rises before me. Okay, that's not it. Because of Desi, of course. Why else? Mr. Delite, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday.
Huh? What doesn't?
I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret.
Gulp.
A certain person? Miss Desiree Delite, the defendant's wife.
Well, but listen to me. My Desi, she's...
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Ah, Godot!
Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
What do you mean?
Mr. Delite stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that's how this murder came about.
No, everything is falling neatly into place for him.
Don't talk about my Desi like that! Or you'll be sorry!
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far.
What do you think, Nick?
I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly, there is sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much.
The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delite? Come on now, tell us! We're all ears!
At the CEO's office.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Ballard was lying there, dead.
I see. You suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Mask to Mask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Atme turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie.
Ha! No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that.
But what are you saying? I really was attacked.
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination.
Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. At the CEO's office. Suspicious shadow, you were hit in the forehead. If I hadn't been wearing that, and what is that? That? Could you please clarify what you're referring to?
Why, my mask-to-mask costume, of course.
Wait just a moment. Mask to mask?
Huh. Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask to Mask. And then, I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this.
I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either.
Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really likes to keep secrets.
I'm sorry. I just never had the chance to mention it up until now. That's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind?
My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me, coldly.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. Been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. Well, what about this other photo that happened to be at the other crime scene? Not that one. No? Okay, what about this brooch? Would have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. Okay, what about this? God, okay, well press. Good lord, game. Why are you so difficult sometimes? Why were you dressed up as Mask to Mask?
Why? Because I'm Mask to Mask, of course.
What are you talking about? Mask to Mask trial is being held next door.
Huh. Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I expected.
Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? Press harder. What do you mean by took a lot longer?
Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Ballard's body.
Whoa, what was that? Back up a second!
Yes?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yeah.
Inconceivable! Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? The beard is tired of this crap.
Question. When does someone toss their dirty drawers in the washing machine?
What?
The answer's simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delite hid the body because he's the murderer?
Huh. So you're not as stupid as you look.
His metaphor this time was really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Oh, well, yes. Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh. Looks like a storm front is moving in over the fair weather judge. Yes, the beard is a tornado. It took about 10 minutes, which of course contradicts this autopsy report. Ba-ba-da-ba! No? Okay, fine. Be that way. What about your testimony? No? What about this? There we go. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects to the CEO's office to the security. If the button in the office is pressed, the security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. Whoa, what? If Mr. Ron Delite truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way.
Let's remember who we're dealing with here. Probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building.
Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
But, as it turns out, the guard never came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delite could have known.
Huh. Again, remember who we're dealing with. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delite didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Fine. Let's hear your theory.
Remember the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delite said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delite didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So, what you're trying to say?
Mr. Delite was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was knocked out Ron Delite and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court! Mr. Wright, this is...
This is preposterous! It was this kid! Ron Delite is the one who killed Cain Ballard.
Then who pressed the buzzer?
It was. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push the button.
So Cain Ballard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove that it wasn't Cain Ballard who sounded the buzzer? Oh, God. We'll find out next episode. Rate, comment, subscribe, favorite, and see you guys on the next epic episode of Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations.